The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar, What is Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations? We appreciate you taking the time joining us today. There are a couple of housekeeping items I would like to mention before we get started. All attendees are in listen-only mode, so if you have questions, you can either raise your hand and we can unmute you, or you can put your questions in the GoToWebinar question box. I'd like to introduce today's speaker, Adrian Johnson, who is on our AX team. So with that, Adrian, I will turn it over to you.
Hello, thank you, Lindsay. Let's see. Sorry, I have like 3 screens, so I'm trying to get those together. There we go. Sorry. Hi, I'm Adrian Johnson. I'm a consultant here at Associates. I've worked on AX 2009, 2012, and then also Dynamics 365, of course. My experience mostly lies in the financial areas, and I also have experience with supply chain, workflow, security, and management reporter. Primarily, the implementation projects that I have worked on have been within the manufacturing industry, and I've also worked on some projects in the biotechnology field and food harvesting. This slide is just to give you a little overview about all of the functionality that is available within Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. They have financials, supply chain, projects and services, and also human capital management. But today we're just going to focus in those items in this first column. It looks orange or red. So we're just going to focus on financials today. Okay, so workspaces. So one of the very big things about 365 is this idea of workspaces. So workspaces is a single location that users can go to complete all of their daily tasks. These tiles make it easy for you to quickly visualize the status of various tasks. So here, for example, we can see that we have 31 purchase orders that have been approved, and we have 2 that are in external review, 12 that are in draft view, meaning they've been created, but they haven't been approved or confirmed yet. And then you'll also notice over here in this links area that we have links that will take you directly to the page within operations. So it really cuts down on the number of clicks and the user having to remember how to get to a specific form. There is a link there for them to go directly to the area they need to go to. And then you also have this list page that's in the middle. And this just allows the user to access more information about purchase orders more quickly, so they don't have to navigate out to the all purchase orders list page. They can see that information here, and it's also sorted by different criteria. So what we're looking at now is the draft status of all the purchase orders that are in draft status, but we also can see purchase orders that are in review, assigned to me, approved, and so on. Okay. So next we want to talk about the organization hierarchy. So operation provides the core blocking and tackling activities that any business needs. So from GL, AP, AR, cash and banks, and fixed assets. These activities allow you to pay bills, record payment receipts, run financial statements, and calculate depreciation and track fixed asset activity. The core financials area are fully integrated with operations activities such as sales, procurement, production, and inventory management. One of the unique AX features is organization structures and hierarchies. Organization hierarchies can be created to model the business structure and can be used for different purposes in operations. Examples are for security, centralized payments, financial reporting, and workflow activities. Hierarchies can be changed as you change businesses. This slide and view highlights how operations can handle accounting for multiple entities. Each block on this slide represents an entity within the operations system. Hierarchies can also be created as needed to model dimensions, which are segments within an entity, such as business units and departments. Central to the organization structure is that operations can handle multiple companies within the same database. So if you have 3, 4, or 5 different legal entities, you only need one database to house all of that information. Okay. So here we have account structures, which are built on the concept of dimensions as an account segment. Dimensions can be custom or those that exist within operations out of the box, such as business units, departments, customers, items, or projects. You can also set up validation rules to be extended with the use of advanced rule structures. So say if there's only a specific range of accounts that you want to track an additional segment on or dimension, you do not have to have that segment within your account structure directly. You can use an advanced rule which will extend that which will extend the account structure just for that small group of accounts. Okay. With the use, next I want to talk about intercompany accounting. With the use of multiple entities or companies within operations, operations provides the ability to efficiently process intercompany transactions. Intercompany activity can be handled via GL entry by setting up due to or due from relationships. If a transaction is created in one company, for example, the due to or due from entries are automatically created in the other company. So there's no need to log out and log in of each company to post that transaction. For companies with buying and selling power to each other, trading relationships can be defined for how those transactions can be efficiently processed and linked together. For example, a purchase order created in one company for an intercompany trading partner automatically creates a sales order in the trading partner company. You can also set up automatic updates to occur in a second trading company, such as pick, pack, and shipping activities as they occur, and the settings are configurable. So here on this slide, this top picture here shows you an example of how the intercompany accounting relationship is set up for intercompany transaction processing when you're going to use a GL type entry. And then over here on the bottom, we have the setup options that are related for customer and vendor type trading relationships. So next we have the Global General Journal. The Global General Journal can be used to enter journals across companies. This is useful for accounting staff that is responsible for entries in multiple companies. It allows them to make those entries without having to switch back and forth between companies, and the company is selected when the journal header is created and acts as the default value on the journal line. The company field has been moved to the main voucher line for ease of use. Any journal name can be used when creating a new global journal, and global journals are accessed via a separate menu. Users will only have access to the Global General Journal if they have the correct security privileges. So I want to open operations now to show you an example. Okay. So here we'll go to the Global General Journals. So here you can see we have multiple journals for a lot of different entities. We have USMF, USRT, BRFM. When we want to create a global general journal, we just select new journal here and we select the company that we want to. So I'm going to select USRT, and then I would just select the journal name that I want, and then I'll say okay. So it created my journal here, and then I'll just select lines. And then you will notice that up here it changed my company to USRT. So I can go ahead and enter the remaining information for my transaction and just close out of here. And then I'll just have to switch back to my original company that I had in order to process a new transaction or move on to a new process. All right, so let's open. Okay, so the next area I want to cover is the financial period workspace. So most accountants love checklists. This is how they make sure that they're staying on track. The financial period close workspace gives you instant visibility for tracking process on financial closing activities. You can maintain organized lists of tasks to be completed, the resources assigned to those tasks, any dependencies for tasks, and that is identified by this lock icon here. And you can also set URL links to tasks that will take you directly to the area within operations that you need to be on to complete that task. Statuses can be viewed from different perspectives. So let's open operations here. So if I go to financial period close, I can see this middle section here allows me to see the task by different criteria. So I can view it by company. So here I have GLCO, GLMF, or USMF. I can view it by status area, AP, AR, GL, and so on. I can view it by the status by person who is on track with completing their task and who may be a little behind and may need to take some extra time to do that. And then I can also just see all of the tasks that are related to my financial period close. And I can see, this just allows me to see the company, the person who's responsible, and the due date all within one view. So another big area within Dynamics 365 for operations is financial reporting. The financial statement reports are accessible within the operations application, so there's no need to sign out of one application and sign into another just to generate a report. There are 22 default reports that are available out of the box, and these reports can be used as is, or they can be modified and updated to meet your specific business needs. And then also additional reports can be built from the ground up using the report designer. The report designer is a flexible financial tool that enables the user to build multiple reports quickly and allow those reports to be reusable for other users or generated for other periods. So now I'm going to show you what that looks like within operations. So I'll navigate to my financial reports area. And then so if I select the report that I want to run, I can select view. And this will generate the report for the current or most recent period, and it'll automatically display that information for me. And then also, if I would like to view a different period, I can just select this reports options button here, and then that way I can specify a different time period or add if I want to see the report for maybe a different dimension or department and things like that. Okay, so here is my income statement, and I can see that for the most recent period, which it would be November, and then I can see year-to-date balances. And then if I wanted to see it for a different period or a different dimension, I can add that information there. If I want to create a new report, I can just go here and select new, and it will open up the report designer application for me. So within the report designer, what I could do is create different row definitions and column definitions to use for various financial reports. If I needed to make changes or add any different column, like period to date options, then I could do that there. And then below is the list of all of the reports that come available out of the box. But again, you can also modify these as needed to meet your business needs. So next, I want to discuss consolidation. So when financial data is consolidated, financial results for multiple subsidiary companies are combined into results of a single consolidated company. Consolidation activities can occur within operations itself, which is called the Consolidate Online option, or through the use of financial reporting, the financial reporting tool we just reviewed. Consolidation can include currency translation if needed, and you can also process eliminations. A separate company can be created and used to manually determine if you need to post elimination transactions. And then using the reporting tree within the report designer helps to consolidate information and financial data at various levels. So this screenshot up here shows the Consolidate Online option where you can add a description, your account information, and then also set whatever rules that you need. And then Ledger and Transactions here will allow you to see the result of that consolidation. Okay, so this is the AP vendor invoicing workspace. So in the beginning, I talked about how the vendor or the workspace is essentially one area that a user needs to go to complete their daily activities. So the vendor invoice entry workspace provides the user the ability to transact, view, and manage tasks related to vendor invoices all on this one screen. New invoice journals can be created, which are typically used for non-invoice activities such as utilities or supplies. And then vendor PO invoices can be selected and processed, including three-way match if needed. This process can be started from selecting a purchase order from this view and then selecting invoice now. And you can also do this from the products receipts view as well. And then also global invoice journals can be utilized. So if you need to enter a invoice for another company, you can do that directly from this workspace without having to log out of your first company and log into your second company. And then this also updates if I go to the AP vendors invoice entry workspace, you also have these tiles that are updated periodically, and they just keep you updated on the task. So I can see I have 2 vendor invoices that are pending entry and 3 journals that have been created. So another area that allows users to work more efficiently is the vendor payments workspace. It provides the user the ability to view past due invoices and generate a new pay run just from this one screen. You can also generate a vendor aging document or vendor aging report just by clicking this link here. You can create an open journal and go to journal lines. So if we select here, let's see, let's open my vendor pay runs that I haven't posted yet. Okay, so what I could do here is I can create a payment proposal, and what this will allow me to do is to pull in all of the invoices either by due date, by cash discount, or or by cash, discount, and due date so that I can select what invoices I want to pay. And then also, if I know the vendor that I want to pay, what I could do is select the Settle Transactions button, and that will allow me to automatically select or to manually select what transactions I want to settle for that vendor. So I could select this one invoice and pay that very easily without having to search through a lot of open invoices. Okay. So another area that is very helpful for operations is the AR free text invoices. So free text invoices allow the user to create invoices to customers that are not related to the sales of inventory. So for example, if you wanted to sell a depreciated fixed asset or just do a plus or minus to the customer's account as an adjustment, you can use a free text invoice for that. And this allows you to easily invoice customers without having to set up an item in your account, in your item register. You can also use free text invoices and they can be set up as a template. This allows you to easily invoice the customers for the same service on a regular basis. This template can be reused and templates can be reassigned. So for example, here in operations, if we go to the free text invoices area, we can see that this is a template that we have set up for dues, and we can see um, what that transaction will look like. So what is the account that is going to post to and the amount. And then if we select assign customers, this will show us all of the customers that will be billed when we run this free text invoice template. So once we have an invoice from a customer, we'll also want to receive payment. So the customer payments module allows us to easily and more efficiently process those customer payments. So here we can see any journals for payments from customers that have not been paid yet. We can see all of the invoices that are past due, and then we can also create a new payment journal by selecting Record Customer Payment. And just as with AP, we can also manually select which customer invoice we are going to select. So by going to settle transactions, this will allow us to go in and select what invoice the customer is paying us for. And then also from the payment screen, we can select enter customer payments, and this will allow us to enter payments for more than one customer at a time. We can select the customer and then just mark off the invoices that are being paid without having to create new journals each time. All right. So another helpful area with credit and collection, with operations, is the credit and collections workspace. Sorry, it's under modules. And then I'm going to select sorry, this isn't the form that I want to click on. Let me go back. Here you go. Okay. All right. So when I click on age balances, this will show me all of the outstanding amounts for all of my customers, and then it will also show me the past due amounts and how old those invoices are that have been out there. So if I select this customer here, Birch Company, I can see all of the open transactions related to that vendor. I can see if they've made any recent payments. I can see if any invoices are in dispute. I can see the past due amounts and what the date of that invoice was. And then I can also see any collection transaction or collection activities that have occurred against that customer. So I can see here someone has made an appointment to follow up with a past due balance on September 26th. So another area of finance for financial operations is fixed assets. So let's log over to fixed assets, and I'm going to open a fixed asset record. So here, let's open this computer. So with this listing view is showing us, it'll show us the number of the fixed asset, the name of the fixed asset. So this is a notebook PC. It'll show us the group that the asset belongs to. So it belongs to the computer group, and it's a tangible item. And then we can also see the location where this computer is being used and the user who is responsible for this fixed asset. So it'll be Tim. When we open the fixed asset record, we can see more information. So here we can see technical information. So we can see that it's made by Microsoft. It's a Surface notebook. We can see the year, the serial number, and more technical information. We can also see the asset condition, which is excellent, and this can be updated over time as the asset is used and depreciated. You can also enter information such as insurance information, and you can also enter information such as structure, and this will let you enter if the fixed asset is a part of a larger fixed asset. And then you can also view various financial books on the fixed asset. So here you can see the different financial books. So you can have a federal book and a state book to track your tax amounts. And then you can also have another book. This one is the straight line service lines to track the depreciation for your financial records. Okay. One final area that we want to go over is the budgeting module. And let's look at budget register entries. So with budgeting, you can have basic budgeting, which is just your budget register entries, and then you can have budget planning and also budget control. So budget planning will allow you to have an internal workflow within the system to process creating your budget with other users and departments within the system. And then budget control will track transaction level amounts so that the users do not go over their allotted budget amounts for the year. So this is just an example of some of the budget register entries that have been created. So budget register entries are mostly helpful for when you track and you complete your budget planning process outside of the system, but you want to track those amounts within operations so that you can compare them to your actual amounts. And then you can also use this information to generate financial reports so you can compare your actual amounts to what has been budgeted and forecasted for the year. And then finally, we have budget planning. So if I select budget plans here, Actually, sorry, I want to go to the budget planning workspace. So this workspace will allow me to see a few things. So first, it'll allow me to see milestones. So it'll allow me to see the various steps within the budgeting process, and it'll allow me to see what that due date is and what the actual completed date was. And then from here, I can also see my budget planning hierarchy. So I can see what departments are involved in that budget planning process. And then to the right, I can also see more detailed information. So I can see that this budget plan has been approved, one has been approved, and one has been submitted. And then I can also see the various scenarios amounts, so I can see what was budgeted for the last year, what the department requested versus what was approved. And then I can also see any other budgeting plans for this budget planning hierarchy. Okay. All right. So that concludes my overview of finance and operations. So do we have any questions?
We do not have any questions right now. Again, you can put those in the question box, and we will definitely stay on for another minute or so in case those do pop up. And again, you can reach out to Adrian, and she can get questions answered for you too if you think of something after this webinar. So we will hang on for another minute or so and see if any questions come in. Alrighty, well, if there are no questions, we appreciate everyone joining us today, and we will give you guys time back in your day. Thanks.